But the real way that actually this education happens is through networks. And it's networks like, this is part of the reason why when Linda was saying, well, you know, what do you think about Endeavor? I said, well, it's really important. She said, well, when are you going to join? And I said, well, it's when, not if. It's because pulling networks of the shared information and the shared contacts and the shared ability to find the right resources in order to create these massive institutions from nothing. The network, the education that you get from your network is actually what's critically important. And so, like, for example, one of the things that I frequently tell entrepreneurs, like when an entrepreneur has an idea and they come and they say, well, who should I talk to about it? And it's like anyone who can possibly give you good feedback. Now, you don't publish it to the web, maybe, because you don't necessarily get good feedback there. But anyone who can give you good feedback, you go and tell them your idea and you talk to them about it. Because the way that you have a competitive advantage is not because, oh, I have this idea and other people don't have it, and the moment they have it, I'm going to lose a competitive advantage. It's because you're in motion on it. You're assembling the network around your idea. You're getting the co-founders, the employees, the potential customers. You're moving and you're adjusting by talking to a number of people to getting to the right target. And so just someone else having the idea, that's not the impact. And so it's the network that essentially provides the education. And that's one of the reasons why I think that the thing that Endeavor does, both in terms of its global network and in terms of events like this, are so critical for what entrepreneurial education really means. And it's, of course, extremely important because if you look at, I think, the ability to have high-impact products, services, and companies, I think that they're all global. And so a global focus is, I think, extremely important. Now, it's interesting when it gets to thinking about entrepreneurial companies and venture, because part of the thing is it has to start local and rooted. You have to get a team together. They have to have an idea. They have to have an aperture that they're trying to drive their strategy through. You don't start with thinking about how do I take over the whole globe with my new product, my new idea. You start thinking about is how do I establish this as a strongly growing, an ongoing concern that can fund its own expansion all the way to being a global entity, ultimately. But all of the stuff starts locally. It starts with, a region, Silicon Valley, Chile, Argentina, Jordan, local entrepreneurs with, and I could go through the whole list, but then you don't want doing that, so I don't mean to leave anyone out. But and then how does that grow? And then how does that get onto the global stage? And so that's one of the reasons I think putting time into this is extremely important. But here's the thing I think is particularly interesting when it gets to entrepreneurial education, which is I think it's the importance of these memes and of this learning is going beyond just founding companies. Because if you look at it, with the trends going on in terms of globalization, accelerating change in markets, all of the institutions, not just the new companies building new products and services, have to adapt. Which means every individual now needs to act more entrepreneurially. It doesn't mean that every individual is going to found a company. Actually, I think relatively few folks go through all of the different complexity and assembling all the different problems you need to solve to found companies. But that I think every career is now entrepreneurial, because I think it's both entrepreneurial by which the way that you operate within an organization, within a company, is the market's changing and you need to help the company adapt. And then because the market's changing, what is like a career path is no longer straightforward. Right? It used to be like kind of post-World War II. It's like, well, you join a big company, you work your way up the ranks. Then it kind of got modified a little bit. Well, you jump between companies while still working on a career ladder. I don't think there is any such thing as a career ladder anymore. And I think that the pattern by which you develop a skill set and a set of work, a set of ability, a network, skills, and all the rest, I think actually much more mirrors how entrepreneurs live and work than anything else. And I think that's part of the reason why what we're doing is important, is I think it has that kind of global impact.